Hey plant fam, welcome back to The Sprout. Today we're talking about one of the most underrated houseplants on the market, the Aglaonema, also known as the Chinese Evergreen. If you want a plant that's almost as easy as a snake plant, but way more colorful, this is your plant. Aglaonemas come in stunning shades of pink, red, silver, green, and cream. They thrive in low light, forgive you when you forget to water, and just keep looking beautiful. Honestly, they're one of the best plants for beginners. And for experienced plant parents, the variety of colors is addictive. I have 5 different Aglaonemas myself, and I want more. In this video, we're covering everything you need to know: light, water, soil, humidity, fertilizer, pruning, propagation, common problems, and why this plant is perfect for almost any home. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about where Aglaonemas come from. They're native to the tropical forests of Southeast Asia, places like Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. They grow on the forest floor under the shade of larger trees. That means they're adapted to low light, consistent warmth, and high humidity. They never get direct sun. They never experience cold. Understanding this helps you create the right conditions indoors. But here's the amazing thing. Aglaonemas are incredibly adaptable. They can handle conditions that would make many other tropical plants throw a fit. That's why they've become such popular office plants and living room plants across the United States. Let's start with light. This is where Aglaonema really shines. Pun intended. Chinese evergreens are famous for tolerating low light, and they do. They can survive in a north-facing window or a dark corner where many other plants would slowly die. But here's the catch. The more light you give them, without burning them, the more colorful they become. If you have a pink Aglaonema, like Siam Aurora or Pink Valentine, and you put it in low light, the pink will fade to green. The plant will be green and healthy, but you'll lose that gorgeous color. If you want those vibrant pinks, reds, and silvers to really pop, give your Aglaonema bright, indirect light. An easting-facing window is perfect. A few feet away from a south or west window also works great. Just avoid direct afternoon sun. That harsh, hot light will scorch the leaves, leaving brown, crispy patches. So here's the simple rule: bright, indirect light for maximum color, low light for survival and green growth. You choose based on your goals. Now let's talk about water. Aglaonemas like their soil to dry out a bit between waterings, but they don't want to go completely bone dry like a snake plant or a succulent. Here's my rule: water when the top 1 to 2 inches of soil feels dry. Stick your finger in the soil. If it's dry up to your first knuckle, it's time to water. If it's still damp, wait a few more days. In most homes, that means watering about once a week in spring and summer, and every 10 to 14 days in fall and winter. But always check the soil, not the calendar. When you water, do it thoroughly. Pour slowly until water runs out of the drainage holes. Then empty the saucer. Never let your Aglaonema sit in stand-in water. That's a fast track to root rot. What happens if you overwater? The leaves will turn yellow and the stems will get mushy at the base. What happens if you underwater? The leaves will droop and the leaf tips will turn brown and crispy. The plant is pretty forgiving, but consistency is best. One more thing about water. Aglaonemas are sensitive to fluoride and chlorine in tap water. The sign is brown leaf tips and edges. To avoid this, use filtered water, rainwater, or let your tap water sit out for 24 hours before using it. Let's talk about soil and pots. Aglaonemas need well-draining soil. They don't like wet feet. Regular indoor potting mix is okay, but it's better to lighten it up. Here's my recipe. Take 2 parts standard potting mix, add 1 part perlite and 1 part orchid bark or cocoa coir. This creates a chunky, airy mix that holds some moisture but drains quickly. You can also use a good quality cactus and succulent mix. That works well too. Now let's talk about pots. Always choose a pot with a drainage hole, no exceptions. Terracotta pots are great because they wick away extra moisture. Plastic pots work, but you need to be more careful with watering. Aglaonemas have relatively small root systems. They like to be slightly root-bound, but not cramped. Repot every 1 to 2 years or when you see roots coming out of the drainage holes. When you repot, only go up 1 pot size. Let's talk about humidity and temperature. Remember, Aglaonemas are from tropical rainforests. They love humidity. The ideal humidity is 50 to 60%. In most U.S. homes, especially in winter, humidity is much lower. The signs of low humidity are brown, crispy leaf edges and leaves that curl slightly. To increase humidity, you have several options. Group your Aglaonema with other plants. They create their own little humid microclimate. Place a small humidifier nearby, or set the pot on a pebble tray filled with water. Just make sure the pot isn't sitting directly in the water. Do not mist your Aglaonema. Misting can lead to fungal spots on the leaves, especially if water sits in the crevices. As for temperature, Aglaonemas like it warm, between 65 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. They can handle down to 60 degrees, but cold drafts are a problem. Keep your plant away from drafty windows, air conditioning vents, and exterior doors. Temperatures below 55 degrees can damage the leaves and even kill the plant.
Now let's talk about fertilizer. Aglaonemas are not heavy feeders. They grow slowly, especially in lower light, so they don't need a lot of food. During spring and summer, feed your Aglaonema once a month with a balanced liquid houseplant fertilizer diluted to half strength. Look for something like a 10-10-10 or 20-20-20 ratio. Do not fertilize in fall and winter. The plant is resting. If you over-fertilize, you'll see brown leaf tips and a white crust on top of the soil. If that happens, flush the soil with plain water several times to wash out the excess salts. One pro tip: if you have a highly variegated Aglaonema, one with lots of pink or white, it grows even slower than the all-green varieties because it has less chlorophyll. Go easy on the fertilizer with these. Half strength is plenty. Let's talk about pruning and grooming. Aglaonemas don't need much pruning, but a little maintenance keeps them looking their best. Remove any yellow, brown, or dead leaves at any time. Just cut them at the base with clean scissors. If your plant gets leggy, meaning tall with long stems and few leaves, it's not getting enough light. Move it to a brighter spot. You can also trim back the long stems to encourage bushier growth. The plant will grow new leaves from the cut point. You can also propagate the pieces you cut off. We'll get to that. Also, wipe the leaves with a damp cloth once a month to remove dust. Dust blocks light and makes the plant look dull. Do not use leaf shine sprays. They clog the pores of the leaves. Now let's talk about propagation. This is fun and easy. Aglaonemas can be propagated in 2 main ways. First, division. This is the easiest method. When you repot, look for natural separations in the root ball. Gently pull the plant apart into 2 or 3 sections, each with roots and leaves. Pot each section in fresh soil. That's it. Second, stem cuttings. Take a cutting that's about 4 to 6 inches long with at least 2 to 3 leaves. Remove the bottom leaves so you have an inch of bare stem. Put the cutting in a jar of water, making sure no leaves are underwater. Change the water once a week. In 3 to 6 weeks, you'll see roots. When the roots are 2 inches long, plant it in soil. You can also put stem cuttings directly into moist potting mix. Keep the soil lightly moist, and in a few weeks, roots will form. Propagation is best done in spring or summer when the plant is actively growing. Now let's talk about the different varieties. This is the fun part. Aglaonemas come in so many colors. Silver Bay has silvery green leaves with dark green edges. Maria is dark green with silver markings, very classic. Siam Aurora has bright pink and red veins on dark green leaves, absolutely stunning. Red Valentine is similar but even more pink. Cutlass has long, narrow, upright leaves. Susie has cream and green variegation. Sparkling Sarah has pink spots and splashes. Honestly, there's an Aglaonema for every taste. And because they all have similar care needs, once you know how to care for one, you can care for them all. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1, yellow leaves. If the lower leaves turn yellow slowly, that's normal aging. If many leaves turn yellow at once, you're overwatering. Let the soil dry out more between waterings. Check for root rot. Problem 2, brown leaf tips. This is usually caused by fluoride or chlorine in tap water, low humidity, or over-fertilizing. Switch to filtered water, increase humidity with a pebble tray, and cut back on fertilizer. Problem 3, leaves curling or drooping. This usually means the plant is thirsty or too cold. Water it and move it away from cold drafts. Problem 4, leggy, sparse growth. Your plant isn't getting enough light. Move it to a brighter spot. Problem 5, faded color, less pink or silver. Again, not enough light. Move it to brighter, indirect light, and the new leaves will be more colorful. Problem 6, pests. Aglaonemas can get spider mites, mealybugs, and aphids. Spider mites love dry conditions, so increasing humidity helps prevent them. If you see tiny webs or white cottony spots, wipe the leaves with a damp cloth and spray with neem oil or insecticidal soap. Isolate the plant for a few weeks. Problem 7, root rot. This is the most serious problem. It's caused by overwatering or poor drainage. The signs are yellow leaves, mushy stems, and a bad smell from the soil. Take the plant out of the pot. If the roots are brown and mushy, cut away the rotten parts. Repot in fresh, dry soil with good drainage. Water much less going forward.
Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. Is Aglaonema toxic to pets? Yes. Aglaonemas contain calcium oxalate crystals, which are toxic to cats and dogs. If ingested, they can cause mouth irritation, drooling, vomiting, and difficulty swallowing. Keep this plant out of reach of curious pets. Can I put my Aglaonema outside in summer? Yes, but in full shade, no direct sun. Bring it back inside before temperatures drop below 60 degrees at night. Why are my leaves splitting? Low humidity or physical damage. Increase humidity and be gentle. Can I grow Aglaonema in water? Some people do, but it's not ideal for long term. Soil is better. How fast do Aglaonemas grow? Slowly. That's part of their appeal. You won't need to repot every year. Should I cut off flowers? Yes. Aglaonemas produce small, greenish-white flowers on a spadix, similar to a peace lily. They're not showy and they take energy away from the beautiful leaves. Cut them off when you see them. Let's wrap everything up. The Aglaonema, or Chinese Evergreen, is one of the most beautiful and forgiving plant houses you can own. It tolerates low light, irregular watering, and a range of indoor conditions. Give it bright, indirect light for the most vibrant colors, but it will survive in low light. Water when the top 1 to 2 inches of soil are dry, use well-draining soil with perlite, provide humidity through a pebble tray or humidifier. Fertilize once a month in spring and summer at half strength. Propagate by division or stem cuttings. Watch for overwatering, it's the most common killer, and keep it away from pets. Here's the most important thing to remember. Aglaonema is a plant that gives you so much for so little. It doesn't need constant attention, it doesn't need perfect conditions, it just needs a little bit of light, a little bit of water, and a little bit of love. And in return, it gives you stunning, colorful leaves that brighten any room. If you've had trouble with fussy plants before, try an Aglaonema. You won't regret it. If you have an Aglaonema at home, let me know in the comments. What variety do you have? Silver Bay? Siam Aurora? Something else? Post a picture. I'd love to see it. And if you're new to The Sprout, hit subscribe. We put out new plant care videos every week. No plant shaming, just real tips for real plant parents. Thanks for watching. Take care of your plants and they'll take care of you. See you in the next video.